Hello and welcome to a special plus one interview. We are joined by Joey Barrett of the Item. We are back because fall sports is gonna kick off pretty soon, and what that means is we got to talk about some football.
It's that time of year. Thank you for having me.
Hey man, yeah, we haven't had nothing for the last couple months, so the grind for every high school sports reporter starts. It officially started last week. So we're here. I mean, we got to talk about the City of Lynn football. There's a lot of excitement for the teams, for each of these teams, because, one, a lot of new guys are going to be stepping in. I'm talking about players, and then we got one new head coach, but it's like everybody's kind of excited for their programs this year.
I'm excited, except you alluded to the fact that I'm no longer around on Fridays and Saturdays to make plans. But no, I love my job and I love working, so it's all good. Lynn football is in a bright spot right now. 5 programs looking to do some damage, so I'm excited to cover it.
Yeah, and I'll start off. I went to a couple scrimmages Saturday. First, I went to St. Mary's and North Quincy, and it was like no crazy takeaway from me from those games, except the fact that Tyler Guy is really good and Maxwell Parent is really good. So, but I like some of the stuff I saw. I saw what kind of like the Spartans want to do on offense. It's that ground game. They're gonna run that ball at you, and not the biggest offensive line, but they are pretty. They move guys, and when you got a back like Maxwell, it's all he needs is like a little crease, and he's gonna make something happen.
Yeah, he's already made a name for himself among the St. Mary's faithful, looking to do that again. When I talked to Coach Sean Driscoll earlier this month, he said the keys were maturity and that offensive line. Like you alluded to, the run game. It's going to be their bread and butter, I think. And like you said, Tyler Guy, very good. Maxwell Parent, very good. So
a lot of experience, too. A lot of experience because they were young. Last year, injuries really got them. They really were bit by the injury bug for most of the season. But with that, it gave the opportunities for a lot of young guys to get in there and get that experience. Quarterback Yanil, Rowan Merriman, he also got in there. As we said, Maxwell Parent, Deval Pamplin, he was able to get some opportunities. So they got a lot of guys in the skill position that were able to garner some opportunities last year. And now, their roles are going to have changed just drastically just because some of the guys they graduated. But, I mean, I think they got enough guys on the offensive side of the ball to, really put up a lot of points.
Yeah, you mentioned their young players. I'm thinking about those games last year that are really going to pay off now at Everett, at Bishop Fenwick, a home game versus Kip that went right down to the wire. That was a 2-point game. So now that these players, have been in that situation, in those scenarios, I think they're going to have a strong year. So hopefully a tournament run.
Yeah, and one thing the coach just said is just like, health. They just got to keep their guys healthy, which I think that'll be key. But I was also looking at their defense right now, a little bit of inexperience in certain areas, but I think it might be one of those things as the season goes on, you see the improvements they make. Because honestly, the first couple weeks of the season, it's always trying to like fix certain things that you're just gonna not have right away, just because that's just usually how football goes. Like the first couple weeks.
Yeah, I was watching a Bill Belichick interview yesterday. I know it's at the NFL level, but it applies. And he was kind of just saying that this preseason and the first 3-4 games of the regular season, you're just figuring stuff out.
Right.
You're not panicking, and once you get into midseason form, that's the goal.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they might be looked at as one of the favorites in their Catholic Central League Conference, and along with Fenwick and Bishop Feeheen. They have like 200 kids on their team.
Yep.
So.
Yep, Bishop Feeheen used to beat my high school a lot.
And even Cardinal Spellman, I don't know who they lost or who they're returning. So it should be an interesting year for that league too. If some of the teams that were really successful last year continue on that. Lynn Tech, I haven't watched them play yet. I haven't watched them scrimmage yet, but from what I know, they got some good guys on the team. Joshua Lewis, the lineman, they told me he's probably their best defensive player. You got Angel Figueroa, who had 9.5 sacks last season. That just went under the radar. And literally, it went under the radar. Like, that was, not 9.5 sacks. That's a lot of sacks. He told me he's trying to get double-digit sacks this season. And then everything runs through the quarterback. The young Jadiel Ortega, going to be a freshman. Like, so we're going to see what he does for Act 2 for the Tigers.
And he's already got a little resume for himself. He's gotten 2 gold medals.
I forgot that.
With Team USA. Yeah, this summer, right?
Yeah.
So I remember just last year some throws he was making down the sideline. He's confident, he's young, so I'm excited to watch him. And, Coach Runner said they're going to be a running team. Everybody knows we're a running team, but he's challenging teams to bet that they can't pass because they'll prove them wrong.
As I look on this message I got, they're talking about a young man named Jacob Garcia, I believe. Yeah, a running back, Jacob Garcia. There are some really high expectations with him. They told me just keep an eye on him because they feel like he's gonna be one of their key guys for offensively. That's gonna do a lot of damage on the ground. So I was like, all right, let me know. This is the first time I'm hearing about Jacob. I got some messages about Jacob. So I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna wait and see. I'm just if what y'all are saying is true, all right then. But they did lose Cesar Reyes, who was a big play guy for them. Cesar was like a running back, receiver, and all that. And he did a lot offensively and defensively. But that's a guy that's gonna be hard to replace. But that's the beauty of the new season. You're going to try to find that one player that's going to try to replace that.
It presents opportunity, so see who can step in.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and the Tigers, I don't know if you saw their schedule, but they only got one home game.
Yeah, and it's late too.
I don't get it.
I don't know.
I don't understand the schedule makers this year. For that.
I don't know the process of scheduling. Yeah. But it is strange. Yeah.
I just know that you're at least supposed to get 3 or 4 home games. At least that's what I know. Well, for them to only have one, that's kind of criminal.
Well, then Kip technically, right? Home game.
Yeah.
Manning Field.
So they got 2.
so we'll see.
Speaking of the Panthers, Kip, another team that's they've been really competitive. They've had a wave of quarterbacks in the last couple of years. You go from one. Then you were supposed to have the young Eli Machado, but he got hurt last year. So you put in Chanel Gutierrez, and he does an exceptional job playing the quarterback position that year. But now he's graduated. Now Machado, he played a little late in the season after he got fully healthy, but when I tell you, I've never had high expectations for a player like I have for him. Like, he's one of those guys. Like, he has the tools for everything. He got the height. He's got the arm strength. He got the mobility. And what better system to display all your quarterback traits than Coach Rabbitt's system?
Yeah. They run, they pass, they do a little bit of everything. The option. No Mornell. And no Jovan Machado, right?
No Machado.
So
Alan Delgado graduated.
There could be a transition process, but I love what they do over there. They play energized, they play fast, so a very unpredictable offense to try and guard too.
Right.
So I think Kip will be okay.
Also, you got to look at they got Jose Echeverria. He was a guy that I think he was like third or fourth string. Well, he was like the third or fourth passing option for Kip. But there was games last season where he had a couple 100-yard games and he made big plays for them. So I think the connection with him and Machado it might be key. And it's just we'll see what they have for the backfield. But the positive for them, their front is back.
Yeah,
they have every one of their offensive linemen back, and that brings continuity, and that is going to be great for a young quarterback who's starting for the first time.
I'm thrilled I think it's week 2, St. Mary's and Kip.
Yeah, it is week 2.
That was a 2-point game last year and went right down to the wire. And both coaches, Driscoll and Rabbitt, said it's turning into a rivalry, a friendly one, but
right.
Good for the city, good for the Manning Field fans that night. So
yeah, definitely.
We'll be there.
Because I don't know if they're playing Salem in week 1, but I thought they had Salem on their schedule this year.
I think that's later.
That's later, right? I thought it was originally supposed to be a week 1 game, but the schedules are forever changing.
That'll be fun.
That definitely will be fun. But yeah, all right. So
if it's during Halloween, how long is it going to take you to get back here?
no, listen, man.
We'll see.
You know, it might not take too long because that direction of Salem is not really where all the traffic is.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't advise it. I still wouldn't. I still wouldn't advise it. And crazy things happen on Halloween in Salem, so it might be one of those games where something crazy might happen if it does happen on Halloween. Lynn Classical Rams, man. I watched their scrimmage, and Tyron looks like he didn't lose a step. He just looked like he's picking off where he left off. I mean, granted, he got hurt the first game of the season last year, but in that first game, you kind of saw it. He was like on pace. He was probably gonna have another 1,000-yard season because I think he rushed for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns before he got hurt.
I remember such a friendly, exciting interview when you talk to him. He's very prideful and he has a lot of fun playing the game. So Tyron is going to probably lead the team, and I'm excited for them. Coach Vaughn, they're without the elephants in the room,
Right.
Vaughn and Naskey, but it'll take some time to maybe adjust from that, or maybe it won't. But
from what
Tyron,
I saw Saturday, it might not take that much time.
Great, yeah.
Because they got Ryan Booth. He's slated to be their starter, their starting quarterback, and he was making some throws the other day. Now they got the skill players too, Javon Claiborne and Jabin Pierre. Pierre, he was out. Both of those guys were out there making play. And Coach Vaughn said, Johnny McKay, the sophomore, he's gonna be really big for them. He's gonna get a lot of opportunities. But yeah, losing Naskey, losing Vaughn, losing Fessler, those guys. It might look like hard times for the Rams, but nah, I think they got a bunch of guys that's actually gonna step right in there. And the good thing about some of those guys too, they got opportunities last year. There were some opportunities for those guys last year. There were some games that they made plays, and it was in spot moments. But there was some moments last year from those guys I named that they made some plays. Booth, he's making the transition though. He went from wide receiver DB last year, now he's quarterback and DB. So I mean, that transition is. Yeah, but I see from what I saw, it might be a smooth transition.
Awesome. I would love to see that. And I'm particularly looking forward to that matchup versus Peabody at home. I think that's a fun one.
Yeah.
Both can throw, both can run.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
I mean, the North Attleboro matchup is going to be interesting too because you're playing a team from one of the best conferences in the state, in the Hockomock League, and from what I know about that team, they're kind of ground and pound, North Attleboro. So, and I know Coach Vaughn this year, he's going to be emphasizing the ground and pound too, just because of, trying to get the young quarterback acclimated to the system. So that might be one of those games. Who can stop the run in that game? I know a different kind of matchup for Classical though, with having North Attleboro come here. Ain't that from your neck of the woods?
Yeah, North Attleboro, the alma mater. Very ground and pound. From a local perspective, we had one of our reporters covered North Attleboro at Linfield last year, and they ran right over them. And Linfield's a very good program, as we know. So North Attleboro versus Classical, that'll be a tough one.
Definitely.
But nothing like a good challenge.
Like a good challenge.
Especially
That's
early.
Good scheduled game. Good for the rankings. Whatever. Sometimes you got to schedule those games just to help the rankings. So it'll be good. It'll be good for Classical. So they'll definitely be on their P's and Q's. I'm still debating where I'm gonna be on that Friday, September 6th. Like, we gotta go. All right, we gotta go to Lynn English. Lynn English, another team. They got a lot of guys on the team with a chip on their shoulder. That's what I'll give them going into this season. There's a lot of players on that team that have a chip on their shoulder, and they got experience too. But now it's just putting it all together. You got a new head coach, a new coaching staff. but I think Tyler kind of has an idea what he wants to do with the program and where he wants it to go.
I stopped by practice last week, and that was the vibe I got. I think Coach Tyler McDonald, he's been a classical assistant. He's cousins with Brian, and he's hungry, and he wants to make Lynn English, a really strong program again. And I talked to Shane Knowlton-Smart, who McDonald is expecting huge things from him, and a really good kid, and very athletic. He completed a camp with Boston College this summer. So he said he's hungry, and they all want to prove themselves. So if everyone's on that same page, it's dangerous.
There's not a void of talent over there, though, either. There's not a void of talent. They got really talented players over there. Now it's just putting it all together. But, yeah, as you said, Shane, I think every preseason list I made, I've got him. He's on there. He's on there. I think he's like one of the most versatile players we got in the city, him along with Tyler. And he can do a lot. I mean, you can just go back to the first game last year on the play he got injured when he chased down the Lawrence. I think it was the tight end from who went 99 yards or something, and he chased him down. You can just see the kind of speed and potential he has. But other guys on that team too, Lindbergh Thomas III, he's gonna be in a kind of like a new role, but not really playing more so being put all over the place on the field, a receiver, running back, slot receiver. Maybe they might use him at quarterback at times for special packages, just because he had time playing quarterback last season, and he played quarterback in youth too for a while, so he's got that trait. But his speed is going to be key. Zamari Omosefe, he's also going to be another guy. So they got some weapons at their disposal this year. Now it's just how comfortable will the quarterback be early on, or we're going to wait a little bit during the season to see. But I think he's also been in the program for a while too, so fourth year with the program. So I think there's a lot of guys. Like I said, there's a lot of guys on that team.
Well, you mentioned with Shane the first game of last season. I'll mention the last. He had that return touchdown on Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
To make it 8-6.
Yeah.
And then English fell short. They had that chance late against Classical. And that's the last time they've been on the field. So, even adding to the kind of the theme of vengeance here. And, no, Lynn English, I'm excited. It'll be fun. I know you're excited.
Yeah, and also in that game, he limited Nasky.
Right.
He let Nasky, who was having a great year, he didn't really have that many, but he didn't really have a big play in that game. So, and he had one at least every game he would find a big play from him. So, the versatility of Shane is going to be very, very big. But I don't know if you've done your predictions of record wise of how the teams are going to go, but I mean, where are you seeing from each team? How do you feel like they're gonna fare this season with their schedule?
Yeah, we usually go week by week, so I don't know if I've mapped out the final records I've got to predict, but
we could map out week one, because they
okay.
English is traveling to Lawrence. That should be a tough road opponent for them. St. Mary's and Swampscott. That should week one. Now that one might be the game of the week right there. Yep. Week one, the St. Mary's at Swampscott. I don't know where Tech is. Week one.
Well, I'll be at probably Swampscott and St. Mary's.
Yeah, we have North Attleboro, like we said, visiting Lynn Classical. So I'm on the fence. Am I going to North Attleboro Classical? Am I going to Lawrence and English? Yeah.
You might go to both.
I mean, if one game starts at 3, but
man. So Tech has a week one bye. Kip has a week one bye, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So, okay, Classical, St. Mary's, and as much as I'm rooting for English, that's a tough one to start out with. Lawrence.
On the road.
I'm not going to spoil my prediction for next week, but that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Swampscott got the better of St. Mary's last season, I believe.
Oh, yeah, they did play at the end of the last season, right? Right before their Thanksgiving games, right? Oh, God, I forgot.
That's going to be tough. And Swampscott, their quarterback, Jack Spear, just got a year older. So
that game at Swampscott or at Manning last year, if you remember, if you recall.
I want to say it was at Swampscott, but
Okay.
I could be wrong.
No, I think you're correct. It was, I think it was at Swampscott.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be a good. That's quite the way to open the season. That is quite the way to open the season.
Some good tests, and then Classical versus North Attleboro. I'm gonna lean Classical,
Yeah,
but a very tough one.
yeah.
3 very hard games to predict.
Oh man, outside of like the city of Lynn, what are who are some of the teams in the area that you're gonna keep your eye on to see how they do this season?
I think Bishop Fenwick, just the whole storyline is kind of aligning because they had the school-wide ban last year.
Oh yeah.
So they started 4-0. And then how much, I'm not saying they weren't motivated, but how motivated can you be to win that title if you know you can't win it? Mm-hmm. So they lost 4 of their last 5. I just think Coach Dave Woods and company will probably come back and impress this season. I just see it. Marblehead's another strong team, new turf over there. And Linfield, obviously the prep is going to make some noise. So
I mean, they have like the problem everybody want to have. You got 2 quarterbacks.
Right.
And 2 good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So,
living in New England, there's a lot of talk about that right now.
Right. They got problems, but yeah, those guys, the prep is, they're gonna be right there as always. So, it should be fun times for those that love high school football. We're like almost a week away. We're like 8 days away from the season opening. It comes by so fast. But
My goodness. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in the press boxes again. And I'll see you about once a week. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm still trying to map out where I'm going because, the North Attleboro Classical game is intriguing, but I kind of want to see the debut of Tyler and it's the new look Lynn English. So follow me on Twitter. You'll find out.
You'll announce it.
You'll see where I'm at. It's only I need to get like a clone or something. Any new stories up that you want to plug?
We've got some new stories coming up. Mark Aboyan, our great reporter, is going to be talking about who the Patriots pick. Gerard Mayo is going to make that decision tomorrow.
For starting quarterback?
Yep. He already knows it. He hasn't told the public yet. You look like you have an opinion on that. But no, we've got some fun stories. A classical football preview will be in tomorrow's item.
Okay.
And, some good stories throughout the weekend, yeah.
If you pick a guy in the lottery, you either throw him in the fire right away or you just have him sit for a couple games. And, because we know what we're getting with Jacoby Brissett. Good teammate. Very decent quarterback. He could only do so much for you. So you might stop Brissett a couple games, but then then you throw May in there. But you took him. There's like high expectations. He's got a lot of work to do, obviously, as a young quarterback. But we don't want this to be another situation where another Mac Jones situation. That's no disrespect to Mac Jones, but after that rookie year, everything went downhill for him. So
right,
we don't want another one of that to happen because if it does, them sports talk radio in Boston, they are a negative bunch.
Right,
happens again, it might get worse.
I would start May, but I'm not good enough to coach. That's why I write about it. So I'm not gonna act like I know the right decision. We're gonna have to wait and see. I would start Drake May.
Yeah.
You got him 3rd overall for a reason. And I know it's a pressured situation, but you got picked 3rd overall. So there's going to be some workplace adjustment, right? We'll see.
I look at it from something I saw. It was like a music artist was saying this, how nowadays a lot of artists now, they're not selling out their concerts or like certain size stadiums. It's because they didn't get that development working like small venues and stuff like that. So you haven't got the development or that relationship with a crowd or build a fan base like that. It's kind of like they just throw you out there based on like social media views and stuff like that, and they set you up to burn. So some point you might have to like let them develop a little bit in practice before you throw them out there to the big crowd. That's kind of how I see it.
Speaking of venues, did you go to Kenny Chesney this past weekend?
I did not go to Kenny Chesney,
I
but
did.
I did go to Usher last night.
Oh, you did?
I went to see Usher last night.
How was he?
It was, it wasn't his greatest performance, but you gotta take in mind he had like a medical thing just like a couple weeks ago. So like, of course he's not gonna probably put on the show that he normally puts on, but it was a great show. I enjoyed it. I ain't a nitpicker when it comes to concerts. I'm like, if you can sing without having the background vocals and I can hear you, hey, it works for me.
Kenny was good.
Yeah,
Kenny's really good.
there's a big country music fan base in Boston,
Right.
and I could only imagine how packed it was.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, man.
It took about an hour bumper to bumper just to park.
I don't drive in for concerts. I just take the train.
I would have.
Yeah,
I would have.
I did that last night. I took the commuter early.
Right.
But I was like, there's no point.
Right.
And then, cause I was standing outside and I saw the traffic in the area. I was like, yeah, this is, oh my gosh. Hey man.
We're getting off topic.
Yeah, we're getting off topic. Plus, we got to give my man Pedro a break. He's been working too hard. Make sure y'all check Joey out. Did you plug in your social media?
Yeah, Joey Barrett on X, on Instagram even, and itemlive.com.
Yeah, check them out. Yeah, we're out of here. We'll see y'all. Football starts next week, so have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. This is +1.